Spaces provide a handy way to keep track of annotations and where they are on a document or a drawing. And a great application of this is using Revu as part of a punch or a walkthrough process. So in this example, I have a typical drawing floor plan. In this case, this is a hotel. And here we have individual hotel rooms, and you can see with the label there it shows the particular room numbers of the hotel room. And so what we want to do is set this up for a punch, and we want to automate indicating where the annotations are being placed, which rooms these actual annotations are going to appear in. Now to get started with this, let me open up my left-hand panel here, and the Spaces panel, it's a separate panel within Revu, and it looks like this little floor plan icon here. If you don't see that because you're running in a different profile, go to the Tab Access drop down here, and you should see that in the Spaces drop down. And the first thing we want to do is we want to go add some spaces here. So I'm going to go click the Add Space icon here, and I'm going to just drag a rectangle. It doesn't have to be a rectangle, it can be any shape, but here just for simplicity I'm dragging some rectangles here. So I put in that particular room number associated with this space here, so 1230, and you see that turn blue. Let me go do the next one. And here's what's really cool is that Revu's remembering that I put in 1230 initially, so it's going to be auto-sequencing this so that saving me the trouble of having to key in that information. So right now, let's just go click in a few of these. I can take any one of these and actually set the properties. So say I wanted the color to be a little different. I'll just go make a couple of different color changes here, so I can say that. I can give it the little different opacity setting here so that it stands out, makes it a little easier to recognize. But now that I have these spaces set up, let me go over to my tool chest, and I have a couple of different punch tool sets defined here. So I'm going to go start dropping in some of these annotations, these punch symbols, and I'm just, of course, not doing it scientifically here, but just plopping in some of these in the different spaces that I've defined here, so that once I have a set of these, because I've been walking around on those particular floors, now when I open up the markup list, you'll see that there's this space column, and without me having to key in the room number, because of where I put those annotations, Revu's recognizing that, okay, this annotation was added in that space 1230. These four here, and then in 1231, which equates to the room that's shown up here in the PDF. These different annotations are there, and you can see it highlighting as I'm selecting those. Now, if you don't see the space column in the markup list, it may not be turned on by default, so you can very easily just go into the columns and toggle that on, and you'll see the space column appear. And what's great about this is now all the power that's built into the markup list you have available. So you can sort by clicking on the space here. You can do a PDF summary based on the space. You can filter. So all that is, as far as we're concerned, that's just another column now of data that you have to work with in the markup list. Another thing I'll mention is that it's very easy to take a snapshot of any one of these spaces here and put it on another page. So a lot of times I know many of our customers will take and punch a room at a time. So here I can go right click on any one of these defined spaces, select snapshot, and now I can go create a new PDF. We'll go from use a punch template here. So now I've got my blank page, and I can size this up, because scale really doesn't matter here. And then I could go add those symbols, and it's the same idea that, whoops, let me go put that in there. I'll delete that, go add that in. And so now when I look at that markup list for a particular area here, the 1231 shows up. So that's just another quick thing that you can do, is by right-clicking on that. Okay, so that's the space there. I wanted to talk about one more really powerful feature of spaces, and let me go just to clear things out here so that it's very clear. Let me get rid of my markups here. Now this particular floor plan here might actually refer to floor 1 of this hotel, and we want to be able to differentiate different floors, different rooms, and so forth. So one thing you can do is nest spaces within one another. And to demonstrate this, let me go drag a rectangle here, indicate this is floor 1, and I also want to go in and define some zones. So here, let's go drag rectangle here. We'll call that zone 1. We've got that. And then we can go add zone, we're going to call it zone 2. And one thing here, let me show this. So it doesn't have to be a rectangle. I'm just going to go click some points here to show that you can also have non-rectangular versions. And let's go change the color of that so that it really stands out. And you can see that. Make that a green. So when I click off of that, you see that area now is defined as zone 2. And now, just like I was doing before, let me go back and add some specific room spaces here. So we'll go call that 1230 again. And once again, just like before, now I can start dragging my rectangle, and it's auto-sequencing for me again. So let's go, we'll do 1232. So just to show that I can be non-rectangular, but we'll go do that one, 1233. Okay, so I have the same spaces here. So now with that hierarchy, that you see how I have it encapsulated, so floor 1, zone 2, 1230. Now I can start to go put some of those symbols in. Let me go over to these symbols here, and let me just turn on reuse so that it can go a little quicker. Some of those, some of these. We'll go add a couple more here. But now, so that I have those items added, now when I go into the markup list, you'll see the spaces. What it's showing me, it's concatenated floor 1, zone 2, 1230, zone 2, 1231, 1232, and so forth. So here's really powerful in that now I'm combining and nesting those different areas, those spaces, so that I can build up pretty advanced reports. Just like I was doing before, I could take a snapshot of that zone 1 or zone 2 if I'm doing my punch by zone and put that on a separate sheet. That's also available. So really, it gives you a very nice way of organizing, auto-populating columns within your markup list to do further processes with them. So that was a little bit of a run-through of spaces, now part of Revu.